I was watching the I don't know, they're kind of like countdown videos for Palace that you put up. There was two of them, and in
Mhm,
that video, the promo video, basically,
mhm.
you said you hate fighting, and I was like, it
Yeah.
confused me, because you fight, but you hate fighting. So, and you say you kind of hinted that it's more of the martial arts side of it. But then, how do you get into the zone of like fighting someone and hurting them?
Well, that for me, like I've always been a fighter, so it's just in me. But yeah, that's the honest to God truth because it creates like a monster that's like there always 24/7.
Mhm.
And like when I generally in my day to day life, I'm very I'm fairly pleasant. I like to think so. My vibes are always good. I'm always welcoming. I'm always just a good vibe. So it's kind of like a contradiction for sure, but it's just who I am. It's like I don't have to try to be like a beast. I don't have to try to,
Mhm.
do anything outside of like, be more than I. It's just listen, fighting brings out like an animal in me, so it's something natural. So yeah, absolutely. I absolutely hate it, but it's exactly what I say. I love winning. I love the art aspect of fighting and it's for me it's just an art. It's an art and it's a job that we have to do. It's a job that we are in the business to submit someone, knock them out, whatever it is, and they're trying to do the same. So yeah, that's for me. Yeah, I absolutely hate it, and that's like the authentic truth. But that's just because it's like so embedded in me, like it's just who I am. That yeah, that I have to be a good vibe. I'm always a good
Mhm.
vibe, so like that's
Mhm.
just how I feel for sure. I know it's crazy. Like usually people don't say that stuff, but I'm definitely different for sure.
Yeah, that's why I gotta ask. It's
Yeah,
unique.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Your father was a martial artist. You started training at 5. When did you decide that you were going to be a fighter?
Yeah, so I grew up with martial arts.
Mhm.
Exactly 5 years old. My dad's a martial artist, so I grew up with karate. Then found wrestling, and then it was boxing. Then it was Muay Thai, and it was jujitsu. And then it's I actually started my career quite late. My actual professional career was like 26, I believe I was. It's just how the cookie crumbled type of thing. I didn't end up fighting. When I was 21, there was life circumstances. Everybody grows up differently. Everybody has a different journey. So if I could go back, which it wasn't my journey, because I always believe in God's destiny. Then yeah, of course, I would like to have started a lot earlier fighting, but I didn't. This is just the way it is. I started at a very late age, but I don't know. Can you remind me what the question was? Because sometimes I go off.
No, we'll just move on. I think I forgot what the question was, to be honest with you.
You gotta bring me back. You gotta bring me back. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta bring me back.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, I think you answered the question properly. Now, when I look back at your career, your amateur career, your pro career, in your amateur career, you had a lot of submissions, but then when you turned pro, you started getting TKOs. Like, did something change?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, you're always growing as a fighter or martial artist. So
Mhm.
I mean, you would sometimes you're better at striking one year, the next year you become this amazing grappler, or you know what I mean? It's just no,
Mhm.
it's just MMA in general is tricky, right? It's like, how are you gonna win? How the fuck am I supposed to know how I'm gonna win? I just need to win. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if I could win, I think that's any fighter, right? And a lot of people say I'm gonna, win with a submission. God bless. If you know that you're gonna do that, amazing. For me, I gotta react. I gotta be ready in all areas. Try my best, of course. Be a good grappler, have good cage work. Be a good my stand up, whatever it is. I have to try to be the best every day. To be each fight is different, right? Each opponent is
Mhm.
different. Each training camp is different. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah,
That's honestly, it's
exactly.
gonna it's gonna be bad.
It's how the
Yeah, how am I
cookie
supposed to know,
crumbles.
right?
You're right.
It's
You're
how the
right. It's
cookie crumbles, right?
Mhm.
What if somebody throws a shot at me, I fade out, I throw an uppercut, left hook, and the girl gets knocked out.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a KO. Like how am I supposed to know? It's just how you got to
Look at
see what
Leon
happens in there.
Edwards. Look at Leon
Right.
Edwards. Oh,
Exactly. Right.
insane. Yeah,
Yep.
insane. Uh,
Yeah, it's
now,
fighting, right? Anything,
yeah,
anything can happen.
anything can happen. Now, you're 3-0. You're undefeated as a professional, and then 2019, you're going to fight probably your biggest name, Elise Anderson, and then you were injured. It says, what was the injury? How did that impact your career?
The injury was that training camp was I never had to pull out of a training camp. You always hear about it, fighters always pulling out or whatever the case is. It's mostly to do with injuries. I was injured. That training camp was a very, very hard training camp for me in terms of just like outside circumstances. And for that training camp, it was like I'm very spiritual, and I always fight with God like on my shoulders, in my heart, like, and I talk to him every day, whoever, whoever I believe God to be. And that training camp, it was like every time I ask him, are we ready to fight? Like it's a very big thing for me. And he always says, yep, we're good, kid. Let's do it. You know what I mean? For that training camp, it was like everything was like against me, like everything, outside circumstances, injuries I kept fighting through, just everything was just saying not to fight, and I was pushing it and pushing. I was angry, and I wanted to hurt her, to be honest. And I'm not that person that's like, I wake up, I woke up angry, like I wanted to like really just do damage. I don't even know this girl for me, and I'm not like that. Like, of course, a fight is a fight, of course, but that training camp was a very, very intense training camp for me, and I was going against like my coaches, like in terms of like, hey, you got to relax, you got to calm down. And I just couldn't, and it was just crazy. Like I think we pulled out 2 weeks before the fight. It was an injury. It was my Achilles. I can't remember if it was my right, left, doesn't matter, but it was just, yeah, it was just creeping up, and I couldn't step on it. And it was just like, in other words, like God was like, no, like you can't fight like this. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for this injury, I would have fought, and who knows what would have happened, right? But
Yeah.
who knows? Like maybe,
It says here that you had a different opponent for this upcoming Palace event, Claire Lopez. Was that fight in the books, or was that offered to you, or I don't,
yeah,
because it seemed like you
yeah.
had the title fight from the beginning.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, I don't really pay attention to my opponents and all that stuff. It's up to my coaches. I'm not that person, but yeah, apparently that was one of the opponents, and yeah, I think I don't know what happened. I didn't ask questions. It's none of my business. It's none of my concern. My business is myself. But yeah, that it looked like it was in the books, but it wasn't, because this is fighting,
Mhm.
and shit happens for whatever reason. And I always trust in God. And if it wasn't that girl, then it's meant to be this one. Then this is who it's meant to be with on August 27th.
Yeah, August 27th, you're going to face Lili Ferriera for the atomweight championship, your first title fight, I believe. How is it? How is your emotion? It's been years since you've been fighting, but coming back to a title fight, it must be exciting.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure. This is my life. You know what I mean? I do this every single day. I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I coach. I train every day during the pandemic. Doesn't matter. I'm like, I've been in the gym. I never take a day off. And it's just timing. I always say, okay, God's timing, God's timing, God's timing, and this is He's saying now. So I got to obey, and I got to do my best to get that belt. I don't even think about the belt, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
I don't think about, oh, it's been this long, oh, this people are gonna watch. I don't think about anybody. It's just literally breathing and focusing on me, because it's a whole different thing, being in the octagon and people watching from outside. It's a whole different vibe when you're backstage and you're with your team and you're warming up. It's like it's a whole different animal. And if I had to worry about me being off for 3 years, or you know what I mean, like, or
Mhm.
whatever the case is, then it's not a good vibe. So I just need to, I focus on myself and all the work that I have been putting in, and we hope that we get that W. So I don't pay
Yeah,
attention to it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And do you miss the emotions of fight week?
No. No, absolutely not. If anybody tells you that, they're a completely different psycho. So absolutely not. Like, there's nothing, I can't enjoy anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I enjoy the people around me, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's tunnel vision. It's like, I was just saying to like one of my best friends, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to enjoy anything until, and she's like, I know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the people around me know. even like even doing this interview, like it's I wanted to do it, but it's like so close to the flight that like my phone gets turned off. Like as soon as we land, it's bye, see you later. Whoo, let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like the emotions are you after the fight, after you win, like
It's crazy.
you can talk about the emotions and all that stuff, right? Because that's real. But if I were to tell
Mhm.
you that right now, no, no, absolutely not. I don't. Like, you know what I mean? No, it's constant like excitement, anxiety. That doesn't mean that you're not confident. It's
Mhm.
just that this is the adrenaline. You got to ride the wave. So a really good teammate of mine, Todd Stout, the Black Hawk Nation. I don't know if you know him, but he was when I first started my career, he always said like we would fight on the same card or whatever, and he said, "Just ride the wave, baby girl. Just ride the wave." And I always took that with me, and it's the absolute truth. It's like I've been here before. Just ride the wave, and it's August 27th is gonna come and it's gonna pass. You know what I mean? So it's coming whether you want it or not, whether you are excited about it or not. It's gonna go down, and we got two fighters in there that want to win. And I think that's what the beauty is. And I think that's what's scary, what's exciting, and what creates this moment, even leading up to the fight.
Do you envision fights?
Absolutely.
And what do you envision for this one?
You winning.
But do you envision a certain type of performance?
I In my mind, yes, but if I tell you this now, I'll tell you it after what I envision. You know what I mean? I hope I manifest it. But
Mhm.
again, I got to be in there, and I got to react and control myself. And the outcome that I want is obviously a win. And how that happens is already like I can't. There's certain things, of course, but like I said, anything can happen. So that's all I'm gonna say to that.
All right. Well, it's going to happen August 27th, Palace Athena Women's Fighting Championship, second event. Atomweight title is on the line. Anastasia, thank you so much for the time. Enjoyed our chat, and all the best in the fight.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate your time.